Friday night we go over and they're playing a school called Anderson County, which is a pretty big county in East Tennessee, big school. And Heritage is a big school, but they have a small football team because not a lot of kids come out to play for Heritage for a number of reasons. Blount County, which is the county we're in, has a couple, 2 or 3 different county schools, 2 city schools that are state championship level caliber programs. So they suck a lot of the talent out of the county into the cities. Having said that, so Heritage is a small football team. Anyway, so they moved down to 4A from 6A. They were a 500 football team in 6A last year. So we go over there. Anderson County gets going. First, they get the ball first. Heritage does. Drives down. Touchdown. All right. Next drive. Anderson County gets it. Pick 6. Heritage. Touchdown. 13-0. Just like inside 2 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay. Heritage High School Mountaineers proceed to get outscored 63-6 over the next three quarters.
Oh my god!
And the thing is, it's the score. If you're watching just the highlight reels and the news, and you see that score over there, you think, that's terrible. They got blown out. But really, halfway through the second quarter, it's 21-19, and that Anderson County has a 3rd down and 20. They throw a sweet pass out to a running back who is lightning, and he runs up 21 yards, gets the first down. They score a touchdown, 28-19. First pass play for Heritage. Next drive, pick 6, 35-19, and it was an avalanche since then. Connors.
Oh my god! That's that's a mean. Well, look a lot out like this. Maybe Indiana State game. Not quite that bad, but they're on their way. Welcome, folks, to Hell If We Know. I'm Brian. This is Chris, and we're a college football podcast. So we just get right into it. We had some games to talk about. Some we, expected to be blowouts. This Villanova, Penn State, who cares? I was surprised that Northwestern hung with Oregon a little bit. It was only 17-0 at halftime.
Right, that was closer, right? I mean,
Yeah, it was.
you're just so used to Oregon putting up 70, you don't think of
Yes,
just
exactly.
going 34, like an off game.
Weirdly, Northwestern's offensive line, for example, held up pretty well, all things considered. I mean, obviously the score didn't really reflect that in the end, but Oregon had to put some effort into this first half. They were able to cruise, eventually, but because they defensively they did
Right.
well. But I guess you could say they put up a fight. But we'll get into real games. I mean, let's just start with the big one down in the Bayou. Florida, LSU. The score you can see is 20-10, but I got another number that I want you to tell me what that is, and that number is 5. What does that represent?
The amount of corn dogs each person eat at LSU Stadium Saturday night.
Well, that's one, I guess. Okay, so let me clarify. It happened on the football field in particular, not in the stands or in the concession area.
Yeah, Mr. Lagway throwing it to the other team 5 times.
Yes. Mr. Lagway throwing the ball to LSU, not wide receivers, defensive backs. That was a linebacker in there, a nickel maybe, 5 times. 5 times. And somehow, Florida still only lost by 10. And I think that could be a number of reasons. One, Florida did play with a little spirit, shall we say, at least on the defensive side of the ball. And LSU's offense is, I think they are what they are at this point. It's kind of an anemic offense. They just are not able to score. Well, they're not certainly scoring points like Burrow and those guys did, but they're not even scoring points like Les Miles players, kind of teams that 9-6 Alabama game, something like that. So I know you saw this game. What are your overall thoughts on? Let's start with LSU because we get Florida a whole another conversation too.
For sure. I don't like the LSU offense right now. They can't run the ball at all.
No.
And Nussmeier has, coming into the season, a lot of people had him and Cade Klubnik, who also is not. We'll talk about him in a few minutes.
Yeah, boy.
Right. Another one. I mean, that's like top tier quarterbacks in college football this year, and neither one of them is playing very good football for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just offensive scheme, if it's play calling, if it's I don't know. I don't know what. Can't put my finger on why. They're just not very good offensively. They better be very, very happy they got way better defensively at LSU, because if you're fielding last year's defense, then you're probably 0-2, because Clemson would have scored more points, Florida would have scored more points had they not thrown it to LSU defensive backs and such. So, but this LSU offense is not in a good place right now, and they're just kind of skating by, leaning on defense, and causing turnovers. But that's not a recipe that's definitely not a recipe to win at all. It's not a recipe to go 10-2, because they're going to lose football games. So. Yes. When they get teams that can score, and they are forced to score with them, teams like Ole Miss, teams like Arkansas, teams like Alabama, teams like they don't play Georgia this year, but those type of teams that can score the football, yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's the recipe Brian Kelly has going right now is not sustainable as far as through league play. I don't see them. I see them taking 2 or 3 L's if they keep playing this type of offense.
Right, I agree. And Nussmeier, he's been around, but he still makes some really head scratching decisions with the ball, like a bad interception, and it's only 15-27. Florida still has athletes, right? They still have talent on that team. They're poorly coached. And generally they don't have good discipline on both sides of the ball. But they have some talent. LSU's 4-14 on third down, and one of the biggest numbers I thought was surprising is that Florida had the ball for 37, almost 38 minutes of that game.
Yeah, they possessed it.
You throw 5 interceptions, and they get beat by double digits. That's a weird combination. Now, I know one of those touchdowns for LSU was a pick 6, but so this kind of points to LSU's offense just getting by, just doing enough.
It's a 13-10 ball game if he don't intercept that and run a pick 6. 13-10.
Exactly, right. Because they're playing. Florida's defense is hanging in there. I mean, you only give up 10 points, 13 points in a
every game you play.
That should be plenty. Whether you're in high school, college, NFL, whatever level you're at, that's a great defensive performance, frankly. Mm-hmm. You expect your offense to put a little bit of effort into it. And so Florida had long drives and ended a pick. That's why they get 15 minutes extra time possession. But that doesn't mean anything when you're in Florida. Can't run the ball either. Ridden the ball for under 3 yards per carry. Ball hasn't. I mean, I don't know if they're really trying or not, but they're just too much on Lagway. He's still learning on the job, and this coaching staff and him, this is just
it's square peg. It's square peg, round hole. That's what this is, and the writing's on the wall. Next, we'll talk. Of course, we'll talk about next Saturday on Thursday, but everyone sees this train coming down the tracks for Florida next Saturday. So. Yeah. You can't put my finger on it. I don't. He's just not any good.
No,
he's just not any. And they're not doing him any favors. He gets no help from a running game. They can't protect him. It's just a train wreck. And the clock's ticking. The doomsday clock's counting down for Billy Napier. Florida fans know it. Every Florida fan knows it. He will be booed clean out. Yeah, Napier knows it for sure. Napier's probably put me out of my misery and give me my buyout. Let me get the hell out of here.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll see you in Miami, but I'll be on South Beach. I won't be in Hard Rock Stadium.
I won't be at the game.
Uh-huh. And I'll tell you one thing I'll say about this is, and we may talk about it after the game, after we kind of break down the game a little bit more. But the Brian Kelly rant after this game.
Oh boy, yes. Let's pause on that for a second because I wanted to touch on that. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, just because I just want to touch on this more because it's worth rehashing. Lagway has plenty of talent, arm talent. He can make every throw. He's got a body that can withstand, in theory, a lot of punishment and carrying the ball. It's just up here where whether he's not reading simple safety linebacker. That last interception, or that was number 4. The pick 6 one was dude, you're only reading half the field. You didn't even see that linebacker, that nickel, whatever it was, step in front of that throw. And his eyes, he had terrible eye discipline. And I think it's just a broken system, and that's just part of the symptoms of it. Is just terrible quarterback play, but. Yeah, he's just been unimpressive. Go back to last week. They only scored 15 against the South Florida team.
Yep.
They're just not a good offense, and that defense is. They just can't. They're not forcing enough turnovers, or when they are, Florida's giving right back too. So it's just it's a dead man walking. Like I said last week, a week before, Napier's not going to make it to October. I really do think Florida, after they get hammered by Miami, which again you said we'll talk about on Thursday, the preview, he may be tarmacked. I mean, there's no reason to go forward with him as the coach. Like, it's clear Florida has to move on, right? This marriage is discorded, and we have to move on. This is not working anymore for anybody, including Napier. I'm sure he's miserable. I mean, at this point, you know what it looks like. He's got people telling him like what's said in the media if he's not reading it himself, and it's clear on the field that they have terrible penalties. Let's see how many penalties they had. Like, they're just so undisciplined, and that just leads to like you're even if you were playing better, like, you're killing yourself. Like, that's not too bad, I guess, 757, but that's good for them actually. But yeah, I don't think after that Miami game that he's going to be coaching the next game. Now they have the bye week, the 27th,
which is when you would do this, right? If
yes,
you're the
exactly
director,
why I said that. Yep.
You're gonna take it. You're gonna take a Saturday night,
right?
Dry.
Yes.
And you get a week off before Texas comes to town.
Yep.
The last thing you want to do is hang on to Napier, and then you might have 35, 40,000 fans in the swamp when Texas comes
right.
rolling in there.
Right.
And all those people, half of those might be Texas fans.
Well, exactly.
And just booing the first
Every
punt,
third
the
down.
first INT, it's going to be just booing. I mean,
the
terrible.
first run on second down after a first down incompletion, which is that's like auto run. I can't stand that, but anyway,
right.
Yeah, it's if you have any heart, you do it then, and don't make him go through another home game of that kind of abuse, which is going on. Also, that gives you a couple weeks to find your interim, put together a practice plan and the rest of the season plan, and your AD's got the head start of like, okay, we need to find the next greatest head coach, maybe Alex Golesh, maybe the guy at Vandy. The next great head coach, we have the upper hand because we're going first. We get to start looking around and asking around, although, Brent Pry, Virginia Tech may think differently. They got a head start. UCLA's got a head start too, I guess so. But those teams are different than Florida. Florida's Florida.
Florida, yeah, right. Florida's the big guy on the block when it comes to who's already in the coaching hunt now. They're the big dog.
Absolutely.
When they get in the coaching searches, that makes waves. So,
yes, absolutely.
I'm like you. I think that's the time you do it. If they go down there and they lay it and Miami beats, and that's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Miami's a good football team.
I think they're number one, and we'll talk about them.
I was just going to talk. I was going to say the same thing. I think they're number one. We can talk more about it, but they are as impressive as anybody I've seen, and I've seen all the top teams, top 25 teams play a fair amount, and some more than others, but they are really, really impressive. So
that Florida team will quit. I honestly
absolutely.
believe they're soft and they will quit, and then Miami will score however many. Cristobal may go for infinity points, and then you give her a Napier. You got 2 weeks before Texas comes in there. You put everyone in place. That's when you make the change. I don't see it going any other way than that.
No, I don't either. By the way, when you get to that Texas game in a couple weeks, Florida not going to be ranked. Texas, in theory, will be ranked still. But you talk about two quarterbacks that started at the top of the mountain and just tumbled down from not just poor quarterback play, abysmal play for their talent, for their ranking when they were in college. And a lot of pundits are saying, some of these guys okay, that's a top 10 draft pick. This is the top quarterback in the country. There's so many things to talk about that alone, but there's some bad football being played, and that may be an ugly game to watch in the swamp in a couple weeks.
Coming into the year, the top 5 quarterbacks you was going to put up there on top 5 was going to be Klubnik, was going to be Nussmeier, was going to be Lagway, was going to be Arch.
Yep.
And you're getting mediocre at best, quarterback play from all 4 of those guys.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
who
hell,
you put
Nessmeyer
five.
looks like Joe
Yeah.
Montana compared to these other guys, and he's
For sure.
playing pretty poorly, frankly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who you would put 5 up there. But that's, I mean, those
Beck,
4 jump
maybe.
out at Beck, but he's playing outside
He's
of his
playing
mind.
outstanding. Yes,
He is
absolutely.
playing fantastic football.
Yeah.
So you just, and then guys like Aguilar, which we'll talk about, Stockton, which we'll talk about,
Absolutely.
the kid up at Oregon, the kid over at Texas Tech.
Absolutely.
They're playing good football, and they was not talked about at all coming into the year.
No, not much at all, other than how they're spending money. But we're going to be able to talk about them on Thursday because they got a big game in Utah this weekend. So we're going to find out what they're made of because that's a damn good football team in Utah as usual. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. But so we both agree this is a game that we kind of, I think LSU covered the 9.5. I think it was a 9.5. So Florida, dead man walking. They put up some fight, I'll say that. I mean, they did do that, but LSU has some losses left, probably. Although, defense will travel anywhere, and they got a defense that'll keep you in every game. Maybe they can eke out several games like this, but you end up playing with fire. All you need is like a fumble, scoop and score, punt block, touchdown, something like that, and you're upside down, and you don't really have the capability to play from behind. The problem is, like you said, they're not exactly running the ball down anyone's throat either. So they're not able to control the clock based on the fact that they only had the ball for 22 minutes. So I don't know where you go from there from LSU, but we could talk about where the first question that Brian Kelly was asked after the game was about third down, I think it was.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about a guy just let loose, like just unloaded on that guy.
What a D-bag.
He's just
everyone
unlikable
knew.
human.
Right. Everyone knew when he went to LSU he was a douchebag. Everyone knew it. He was at Notre Dame.
Right.
Of course, he is at LSU.
Yes.
They don't look good. They beat a mediocre 3-win football team in Florida. 3-4 wins maybe. And the first question's an honest question. Let's talk about the offense, Coach.
Yes.
The offense scored 13 points. That is a legitimate question.
Right.
And he just goes off about how we won the football game. And people will know why you can't run the ball. We did run the ball. No, dude, you didn't. You didn't run the ball effectively at all against a pretty good Florida defense. But you should be. Your running game's got to be better than this. And maybe it will be down the road. Maybe they just haven't figured it out yet. Who knows? But it's game 3. So, but for whatever, he's just a douchebag. And then I'm guessing the next day the AD probably talks to him, listen, you can't treat the media like this, man. This is not going to go well. This is not going to go well for you. And then he comes out with a half-ass apology later on, and and so Brian Kelly, he's hard to pull for.
Absolutely.
You got to be a true blue LSU fan to pull for LSU and Brian Kelly. Anyone outside of Baton Rouge and LSU fans and alumni cannot pull for that man. You just cannot watch a game and do it.
There's a greater. Okay, so you have Tennessee fans. Josh Heupel's easy to root for, right? Even when he makes up decisions that are frustrating, he's still easy to root for. If you're an LSU fan, he makes it difficult to pull for, even though you are diehard, paint your face, LSU tattoos everywhere. He's just hard to root for. So you're rooting more for 100% the players, and just Kelly's the guy that kind of shows them how to get there, maybe, if they're going to win a title. But man, that's going to be hollow. And the more he does those kinds of things and show that he's just unlikable, the less people are going to want to gravitate towards him and want to play for him, work for him, and cheer for him. So he's doing himself no favors. It's like he's tone deaf. You didn't understand. You got the fake accent. You did in the weird video. You're doing this stuff, whatever. He's just a strange guy. It's not fit. You talk about square peg round hole. There's not a better example of that in coaching than Rich Rod going to Michigan about 17 years ago. So.
Right. And the thing is you can't be that way and be 8-4, 9-3 every year. That is not going to fly. Nick Saban could do it, but Nick Saban's putting trophies in the trophy case. So he gets to be an asshole, and everyone will be like, yes, worship this man. Because he's putting on rings, and he's putting these...
In different programs.
Yes, exactly right. So he earns the right to be able to go up there and lose his shit on media, which he did plenty of times.
Yes, absolutely.
Brian Kelly hasn't earned the right to do that, so you just can't do it. Put a national championship trophy in the trophy case,
Sure.
that'll buy you a little bit to be able to go and go off on a media member like that and be in the
Yes.
LSU fan base like, yeah, if that media
Yeah.
member.
Tell them.
Right
'Cause
now, everyone's like Brian Kelly's an a-hole.
sometimes media people are obnoxious, but
For sure.
generally speaking, they ask the kind of questions that you and I don't have access to, that we'd want to know. Frankly, they don't ask a lot of those questions enough. Like, why'd you run the ball on 3rd and 14? And then whatever. Like, it just, those are the kind of questions you ask. So you get a tough question from somebody you don't like, and yeah, they won the game. That's the whole point, right? But it gets part of a symptom of like, do you have the ability to go on to continue winning? And I'm not sure. Like, let's peek at their schedule. Like, obviously this weekend is a tune-up game, but you got to go to Ole Miss in 2 weeks.
Better score points there.
You're going to score points because
Lane's going to put them up.
Put some points up. Absolutely. I don't care
Yes,
what
he is.
quarterback's playing for LSU or Ole Miss. They're going to put up some points, right? And that's a good LSU defense. We talked about that, but they're not infallible. They can get got, and then have fun playing Diego Pavia and scoring 12, 13 points. That ain't going to be enough there in Vanderbilt.
Games in Nashville too.
And exactly. A&M's looking to be legit. Alabama maybe better than we talked about. They look pretty good this weekend. I mean, you go down the road.
Taylor Green's going to put up points.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
So
they're going
that's-
to have to do more than score 13, 16, 17 points a game.
And I think that's the reason why the media member is asking those questions. And it's like you said, it's legitimate. He's asking that question because the standard LSU this year is to try to win a national championship, not beat a 3-win Florida team 20-10, and you scored 13 points on offense. Everyone in the room knows that's not going to get where you want to go as a program.
No.
So what's wrong is Brian Kelly's an offensive guy. How come your offense is not any good? So I said it was legitimate questions. He's just an a-hole, and Brian Kelly going to Brian Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, if things melt down and things don't go well and they end up with 3-4 losses, he may be. It's hard to say they fire him, but like, just for he's not a guy that you would even pull for to want to turn around. Like, just get this guy out of here. Like, just get someone else in here. We know we're not going to get Nick Saban again, but like, good grief, this guy's not fun to pull for.
Being that way will turn your fan base against you faster. Mark Richt spent a good amount of years at Georgia because Mark Richt was a heck of a guy, was a good person, and he got a lot of leniency at Georgia, winning 8-9 games a year, 10 every now and then, SEC championship every now and then, and all that. So he spent it. Brian Kelly will not get the same treatment at LSU, being the way he's being.
Absolutely not. So, yeah, well, those two programs are going quite opposite directions. Although LSU could certainly join Florida with some of this. All that takes is a few bad bounces each game, and they're just playing with fire. Like, they're going to have to do something offensively, or they will not be in the SEC title game or the playoffs, let alone national champs. So, all right, one we talked about just a minute ago, who we both agree that Miami looks as good, if not better, than anybody in the country. Just took it to South Florida, like, from the get-go. This game was not even that close as this score says.
No.
That was as big of a thrashing as you could imagine. Like, you and I, we both picked Miami to win, and I think by double digits, but I didn't anticipate them to just hammer them like that. Miami's on another level. Defensively, they're much better than they were a year ago. Offensively, it's hard to say they're better because that was a good offense last year, but they're doing pretty well, and they're just beating the piss out of teams. And Florida, you're next. We'll talk about that on Thursday, but this Miami team is legit. The U, I guess, is back. I think.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know when they
play Florida State too in 2 weeks.
That's going to tell the tale. Is that game in Tallahassee or is it in Coral Gables?
It's in Tallahassee.
Okay, ooh, there you go.
Yep.
So that's going to tell you about Miami right there, because
Indeed.
Florida State's a good football team.
Yes, they are.
But yeah, they're playing as well as anybody. I don't know who's playing better than Miami right now. I mean, I don't know who's. They're getting. Their defense has went from 3 to about a 7 or 8, and their offense has went from a 10 to like a 9.
Right. Yep.
They have made tremendous strides on defense. So
Absolutely.
yeah, they could. It's ACC where Florida State, Clemson's turned out not to be very good. Georgia Tech's
No.
good, but
Right.
I'd pick them against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's
Absolutely.
they have a ceiling, and they could.
And
They
they
look
don't
at
even play Tech. Like they're
Yeah, they
they're
don't even play
gonna
them except
hammer
the ACC
Florida.
championship game. Yeah,
This is going to be like a Florida State Miami game of our childhood.
Yes, it is.
Legit. That's going
I'm
to be
here
a
for it.
war. I'd love to be at that Doak for that one. That'd be great. Louisville, don't know. Stanford's a clown show. They're
Nah.
not. SMU, they'll hammer SMU even on the road. That'd be one
I
where
don't know
like,
where
hey, it's a little sneaky. Syracuse, they're Syracuse, NC State, at Virginia Tech, who's not going to have a coach, and then at Pitt.
Nope.
That does not look like a schedule that's scary any way, shape, or form. Certainly past October 7th here.
I'll tell you right here. If they get out of Tallahassee with a win in a couple of weeks, Miami will be the number 1 overall seed at 12-0 or 13-0 if they win the ACC championship game
Yeah.
going into the playoff.
Yep. I agree, 100%.
Because I
There's
think
no
everyone
reason
else is going to have a
they
couple
shouldn't be.
losses. Yep.
Right, absolutely. Unless they stumble along the way. And the only one I could see the dock them, but
Maybe.
SMU, they sleepwalk through a game like that.
Yep.
If it's like a night game or something like that, or a noon game, that'd be one. But otherwise, they handled a good Notre Dame team. They hammered a pretty damn good South Florida team. They're not going to learn much about themselves other than how many points they can score and have how much fun Saturday. But yeah, this game, huge game. Both teams. We need to know who Florida State is too.
Yep.
For
sure.
They beat Alabama, what looks like probably a good Alabama team, and then they give thrashing to 2 teams. Or actually, they didn't play last week, so we're going to know more about them too. But Miami, legit, better football team than last year, which is saying something because they were, the cusp. You could argue they were arguing want to be in the playoffs. They just, had a few duds there that kept them out.
This Miami defense is a year too late.
Yes.
If
Right.
they, if
Yeah,
if
had
this-
that
if this
defense
Miami
and this off. Jeez.
I don't know who beats them then.
Mm-mm.
'Cause that's a totally different ball game last year.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely. All right. Well, we got to get to the big game here. Near and dear to your heart. Georgia travels to Knoxville. Tennessee comes out, scores 3 touchdowns and 3 possessions. Georgia scores a touchdown there for first possession. Aguilar looks like Joe Montana. I mean, just throwing dimes. Hit his first 13 passes. The trouble is he only hit 3 of the next 9
yes,
after that. And then so it got troublesome. And that's Kirby Smart making some changes in game. And one thing I wanted to we haven't talked about is like all the ability to use like iPads, those kinds of things to look in game at like plays and stuff. You don't need to wait for halftime adjustments as much anymore. I mean, it's
Nope.
important,
You're
but
doing them at
you
the
can
10.
do it on the fly. So I think that's a big part of why that game started to change a little
they're
bit.
doing it at high school level too. By the way,
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
at the high school level,
Yep.
they're doing it too. They got a drone
It's pretty
flying around.
amazing.
They go in, they look at the footage.
It's pretty amazing. I think I like it, but as long as it's
I do
an
too.
even playing field, right? Like that's just it means better football in the end, in theory. But yeah, Tennessee, like they had this game in control, then they just kind of went flat, and then it gets late, and well, I'm gonna let you talk mostly about it, but this did not discourage me about Tennessee, who they are. Actually, I'm more impressed with who they are, and I think with what they've shown and their schedule, all their goals are still in front of them, 100%. Like they're going to have some other tough matchups coming up, but
For sure.
they went toe to toe with a very, very, I'd say, elite football team in Georgia and had them on the ropes, and had a chance to win with a field goal that just sailed right by 50 yards
lot.
or something.
Yes.
Bad. So I'm going to turn it over to you, let you talk about it, because obviously you saw the whole game too and could speak about some of the players in particular. But Brazel, by the way, is like one of the top 5 wide receivers in college football, by the way. He's right there with any of those top guys.
He and if you watched him last year, there's no way you could predicted this jump.
No,
He dropped
no.
balls last year. He
Hands-
was not good.
Yeah.
But that could have been the guy delivering the football last year too. Because Joey touchdowns is legitimate. He fits
Yes.
this offense. You know how we were talking square peg, round hole, all that stuff.
Yes.
This is hand in glove, him and Heupel.
Yes.
And the biggest reason why he's so good is he's been playing a lot of football, and he's 24 years old. He gets it,
Mm-hmm.
and all he needed, how he moves around the pocket was something, because the Georgia defense is nasty. And he
Yes.
just that little step up, that little step to the right, everything you.
That's a
Before we get too
senior
deep-
kind of guy.
Before we
yeah.
get too deep, it's official. Tennessee won the QB trade. Official, hands down.
That
And it
divorce
was questioned.
exchange. Oh, it's
It was
it's
a
not even
question all the way to the game.
right.
It was a question all the way to the Georgia game. What do we say? We got to still let's
Right.
see when they play Georgia. Let's see when we play
Right.
Georgia. Well, he fits it, and he. It looked like the 22 offense is what it looked like.
Yes.
Hooker and
yes.
then Hyatt.
Hooker,
those
that
guys.
offense. Yep.
That's exactly how they look. Their timing, they're dialed in. And you're right. And they need to be tempo a lot, because they were tempo when they scored those 3 touchdowns
Sure.
to start the game. And then they slowed it down for whatever reason in the middle third, and he goes 3 of 11 for 26 yards and 2 INTs.
Yep.
The first third of the game, he goes 14 of 14 for 213 and 2 touchdowns, right? So
Right.
he's rolled. They slow it down, and then once Georgia took the lead, they started picking it back up. And when they picked it back up, the last third of the game, he's 7 for 11, 132 and 2 touchdowns. So you got to keep that
Yeah.
tempo going for him. He
Right.
for whatever he thrives
that.
in that. He thrives in it.
I know you can't always do it, because you end up with 3 and outs and your defense is huffing and puffing. But
Right.
when your offense is cooking like that, it's when you, especially when you look back, man, why don't you just keep doing that? One thing I'll say about Aguilar, but let you keep going, is from when I saw Nico play a lot last year and Aguilar play some this year, including this game, he is really good on the deep ball compared to Nico. Nico seemed like he would overthrow those so often.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a guy that's 6'5" and could pirouette like a ballerina, like Brazel can, throw the ball, underthrow it a little bit, let him come back for it, let him make a play on the ball, and you see the fruit of that when you do that. So I just like him as an overall quarterback. Obviously, the experience helps too, but he's just a smarter quarterback. He can make all the throws you need to, right?
Yep,
He can get
for
the
sure.
ball to his athletes, and that's all you need to do, right? I mean, it doesn't matter, your arm talent and everything if you can't get the ball down the field to someone.
Being
and
able
Nico
to
could.
play the position is the most important thing. Being able to make all throws is fine. Throw it 80 yards is
great.
fine. All that's
Right.
great. But you got to be able
That's
to play
great.
position.
7 on
When-
7.
Yeah.
Right?
When he sees it, he throws it.
Yeah.
That's what he does. When he sees it, he throws it. If you don't see it, pump fake it, and then it's too late. It's already gone.
It's
Once
all-
you see
yeah.
it, you got to throw it, and that's what Nico didn't do. That's what Joe Milton didn't do. They would hesitate. They'd sit in that pocket a little bit longer, and then wind up getting sacked. When
Yep.
not Aguilar, as soon as he sees it, he throws it. Now, that will result in some INTs, which is
Sure.
part of the deal. But you'll
Right.
take the trade so far because he's
Right.
playing at a very high level.
Yeah, you put up 41 points on a great defense.
Yes, for sure. So you can if you're Heupel, you just live with it. But
Yep.
he's playing. He fits the Heupel offense. I was watching a sports show yesterday, and they had alumni on there. Al Wilson was on there, and he says Joey Aguilar is playing the position like he's been here for 3 or 4 years. It's like he's been in the system the whole time. You would never know he got here in the summer,
That's
and
funny.
that's just because he's played a lot of football. I said he's mature.
Yeah.
He's all those things, and so he just plays a. You can't say enough about him. His Heisman numbers went to I forget, it was like plus 20, 30 something thousand, went to plus 1,300 after the game in a loss. So
Yeah, absolutely, rightly so.
yes, for sure. If you could do that's the Oklahoma defense is pretty good. We'll see.
Yeah,
But you just shredded up probably the best defense you're going to see all year. Bama's has
absolutely.
played pretty good, but it ain't
yeah,
better than
absolutely.
Georgia's.
No, it's not better than Georgia's, from my scene, or Oklahoma's. Oklahoma's defense
Right.
is legit, especially that
It's
front
pretty good
seven.
too. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
So
So
you're
you'll
going
have
to
a
play the defense
battle there. Yep.
If you can shred this one, you can do that to this defense. Then there's it's like when you're sharp, you'll do it to everyone you play.
Right.
Now, on the flip side of it, defensively, Well, you're out 4 starters.
Oof.
For
Right.
start, right?
Well,
Both
and
your
you
starting
said
corners.
that was your biggest concern. I'd picked them to win. I thought they'd do enough. They're due, and not that that really means anything. But with the starters out, that was giving you hesitation to want to pull the trigger on picking Tennessee.
Sure. Your two starting defensive tackles are out. They push stuff up the middle. Would have made it a little bit harder for Gunnar Stockton, right?
Yep.
Because the edges were really good on Saturday. Caleb Herring
Yes.
and Jordan Ross and West and Josephs, who got the strip sack. They were fantastic. They just couldn't get anything up the middle, and you're just down men,
Okay.
On the corners, same thing. They picked on Ty Redmond, who is a freshman who is going to be a fantastic cornerback. He learned a lot on Saturday, right? He'll
Yeah.
hopefully take
Yes,
that.
he did.
He learned this ain't high school anymore, brother. This is the SEC.
Welcome
So,
to baptism, right? Yeah.
They turned him around. They went at him. They schemed at him. It was crazy. So that's just part of it. So right now he's fine. If that's Jamal McCoy, who's probably the number 1 corner going to be taken in the draft,
Mm-hmm.
that changes everything.
Absolutely.
Because you're not turning him around like that. Dude shut down Ryan Williams last year.
right. He could handle Zachariah Branch.
He sure can. Yeah. So it just sucks because if this game is in place of the Bama game or is in place of the Arkansas game, you're much different on defense than you were.
Yes.
I haven't said it. You still had a chance to win it. You still had
Yes,
a chance
absolutely.
to win it. You're right there. You're 43 yards away with a field goal. If you told me, Chris, Max Gilbert's got to hit a 43-yarder for you to beat Georgia Saturday, I'm signing up for that every day of the week.
Absolutely.
I don't care what the
That's-
score is.
Right.
I'll take that scenario. So, but so the
It's
the
funny.
down-
I'm gonna pause. I just had
Yeah.
a thought. If we go back to the show on. I said, would you be happy with a knuckleball field goal like Chase? What was it, McGrath for
Yeah.
22 games?
Yeah, for Bammer.
You're like, hell yeah, it would be. So
Yeah.
he gets that opportunity, and not a knuckleball. It looked like I kicked it. It was so bad.
He looks like one of those people that kick it on the college game day trying to win the $100,000
Yes,
from McAfee.
right,
That's
right.
exactly how he looked.
But then
And I'll tell
OT, he
you-
drills the damn thing. It's only 2 yards closer. So, like,
It was
that was been good for 60 from then.
Just pressure, plain and simple.
Yeah, that's it.
He's never kicked a game-winning or game-tying field goal in his whole career,
Yeah.
and he just got and plus, think about that sequence. So you get the ball, you're
Terrible.
tied.
Yeah, let's get into this because
So-
this is terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and this is in the sequence that pissed me off. Like the one that made me mad was before a little bit earlier in
Oh,
the fourth quarter. But
after the turnover.
yes, right. So
Yes.
that one's the one that sticks in my craw a little bit. But this one is so you drive down there, you get down to about a 35-yard field goal, 36 yards. You get a false start on 3rd down.
I've never seen
And-
that before in my life. I don't think on like setting up a field goal. I've never
Right.
seen anybody false start like that.
He false starts, and so because Aguilar got the snap, goes to the middle of the field, falls down. They're setting it up. He false starts, so it comes back 5 yards. And instead of running a play and being business as usual, you're going in on 4th down, whatever.
Yeah.
Where do you want the ball? You want it center of the field. We're going to put it in the center of the field. A lot of people were trying to make the argument that maybe Gilbert locks it over on the hash mark. Bullshit. He don't get to choose. If you're the head
I'd
coach,
be
it's in the
surprised.
center of the field. Kick the damn thing
Right.
straight. It's all you got to do.
Straight. Right.
That's all you have to
Yes.
do. You ain't got to push it because you're on a hash mark or nothing. You just kick the ball straight to the upright, and we go home a winner. He don't get a choice in that, no matter where
No.
he locks it. Don't
Right.
care.
Especially like this is your first time on the hope you're going to be a goat
Right.
or a hero. You don't need to make sure you got an extra draw on it and make it look pretty.
No.
It just needs to go. This needs to barely
To
go
the
to the
upright.
I don't care if you hit the damn upright or the
matter.
crossbar. Just get it over there somehow.
So it's a false start, so backs him up 5. So he's over there kicking in the net. He can see everything happening on Jumbotron right up there. He knows.
Right.
He's sitting there. He's watching.
It's delaying the.
Yes, he knows.
Yeah.
And
You just-
he's thinking, okay, they're going to give you the thing. I'm going to kick it. And all of a sudden, they're like, hey, you're going in. And he just has to run out there on 3rd
Yes.
down. You didn't.
Right.
You didn't. It's like you didn't prep him. And I don't know if you've seen the camera footage of him, but his eyes were like,
Deer in
shoot.
headlights.
It just wasn't good. Like, oh,
They couldn't
this
have
kid
showed him
is
more if
scared
they-
shitless. And I understandably so.
Absolutely.
You're trying to kick to beat a top 5 team. You ain't beaten 8 years. You're getting
Yeah.
ready to be rushed. your night life is getting ready to take a huge turn up if you make that kick.
Right.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
You're
yes.
like,
You'll
you
never buy
make that
another beer. Will never be bought by you in the whole Blount County.
and the female population will be fond
Yes.
of Mr. Gilbert if you make this.
Absolutely.
So there's a whole lot of
Right.
stuff that's out there going through your mind, and he just missed it. He just pushed it right. He's on a hash mark. He knows he has to push it right anyway to make the kick, and he just pushed it way right.
Over it's correct.
And
Yeah.
so,
like it was just a herky jerky.
Yeah.
Like ending there, it just felt so unnatural. And most of the time, those goes pretty smoothly. This just felt like Heupel should be like, this timeout. Let's just reset. This something doesn't feel right.
Sure.
This is herky jerky.
With you.
Run the play, run a dive play, something like just. It felt that would have been more productive and more like normal feeling.
There is so many
but
scenarios, Brian, when he would have made that kick. If it would have
Sure.
been, I have utmost confidence in him. If it's just a regular run of the mill, second down, third down, fourth down kick, I would have even been fine if they would have fire kicked it like Georgia Tech did at the end of the
Absolutely,
game.
that would have been better because you don't have time to think about it. You just got to
go out there,
Yes.
make your kick.
That was
but
brilliant.
like you said, it was all herky jerky at the end. He thinks he's going in because it's third down. Well, it's getting ready to be fourth down, but you get the false start. So okay, I got another down. I'm gonna keep kicking into this net right here, and say for they're patting you. Hey, let's go. We're doing it now. So it throws you all off your game. You're not thinking. It just everything's set up wrong for him to make that.
Yes. Yep,
And a seasoned kicker, a fifth-year senior, probably still goes out and makes it. But
absolutely.
asking him to do that in that situation is just not good coaching.
That's a lot.
So,
yeah.
but that's not
That's not even the
what
worst
sticks
one,
to me.
arguably. It didn't.
That's-
That was just herky jerky. I've never seen anything unfold that unsmoothly, if you will. But
Right.
the worst one is I'm going to set you up here because I know right where you're going because we talked about this during the game. You get a gift from the gods, a interception or fumble. I forget. It was
Strip
a
sack.
turnover. Strip sack. Yeah. Fumble recovery.
Joseph's, yep.
And they get it set up, and you are in a point where you can go up 2 scores. And you sit on this ball and you run it to nothing, like you're completely happy with just kicking for 3, which was a little bit of ironic anyway, too. That was where your offense was kind of humming at that point.
It was.
And you go back to where you were. You put some points on the board, and you were just so happy to settle and just get points. We just want to get points is what it felt like. When you have a very talented quarterback who's been around, like you either trust him or you don't. And this is the time you want to go win this game. This is like they more played to lose that game. So I'm gonna let you take it from there.
Yeah.
Which
No, you're right. And I was all kinds of words that I won't repeat on here. Whenever they run the ball 3 times up the middle with Bishop, who I love Bishop, but that's a whole other thing. That's not your best running back, and that's who they lean on.
No, he's not.
But
Star Thomas is the star.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, carried the ball 9 times for 60 yards.
60 yards.
Bishop got 15 carries for 54, and Peyton Lewis got 5 for 19.
Yeah, along with
So
8 between those two.
Yes.
Those are a lot of wasted carries. 20 carries that were wasted. I mean, if you give even Thomas another handful, he got a 27-yarder one play.
Star Thomas should be getting Dylan Sampson carries. That's how many carries
Yes.
he should be getting.
Right.
He should be getting Dylan Sampson
Yes.
from last year carries. And for whatever reason, I don't know what they see in practice. I don't understand. They're seeing something that he's not coming out to the 3rd drive. Well, that's most of the first quarter's gone before he gets a carry. Because they drew a drive, and then they do a drive, and then he gets to get on the field. And he has to make
Right.
and the thing is, you got to make the most of it because he knows next drive he's coming out for Bishop back in there.
Yes.
So, but
Right.
all right. So talking about the three of the middle, I agree with you. I think that when that strip sack happened, and I don't know if it was Heupel or Halsey or both that decided that we are going to get 3 right here and make it 8, where they can't. When we get the ball back next, we cannot be behind.
Right.
That's what they probably won't tell you that. They probably would never say that in public. That's exactly what it looked like. And then the 5-yard false start to start that drive only cemented what they were already going to do.
Absolutely.
Because
it was over.
Yes, they run it up the middle, then they run it up the middle. They run up the middle first and 15, it's second and 12. They run up the middle, it's third and 8. They run up the middle for a couple of yards, kick the field goal to go up 8. It looked like that's what they were going to do from the jump. If they didn't get the false start, I think they still run up the middle for a couple of yards, up the middle for a couple of yards, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, kick the ball, let's get the 3. That way we get the ball back here because it's like 7, 8 minutes to go in the game.
Right. Yep.
So when we get it back, we can't be behind. We can only be tied or ahead when we get the ball back. The problem with that is, and you've seen it happen, is when you have, and this is a boxing analogy, when they're on the ropes, you don't just tie up with them, right? Mm-hmm. You try to knock them clean out, and that is, and we used to use this with Fulmer all the time. That's playing not to lose the game.
Yes, sir,
and
100%.
You don't trust your kids. He would never say that either. But when you call those 3 ball plays and kick that field goal, that screams we don't trust this offense. And there's a time and a place you might do that.
Absolutely.
If it's 16 to 10, right? And points are hard to come by, and you can get up 8, 9 points because they can't move the ball. They can't, if you can't protect Aguilar, which they stoned Georgia. If you can't protect the ball game, he's been sacked 4 or 5 times. He's half hurt. I get there's a lot of scenarios where you would do just exactly what they did. It's just in that when you just had previous 2 possessions for touchdowns and he's cooking,
right?
And you got people running all over the place wide open in the Georgia secondary. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Absolutely.
Georgia's the man in the SEC, and you played not to lose and not to lose the lead instead of trying to go in there, get up 12, and maybe not shut the door and lock it, but definitely shut the door on Georgia.
Absolutely.
And get out there with a win, and then nothing else matters. But he just And I was, what I was hoping. It's funny, and I should have known better after watching that drive after the strip sack. When they're driving down for the field goal, there's no doubt in my mind. If Heupel or Halsey or someone in that offensive staff would have went, hey, why don't we run fake dive and throw it to Kitzelman over the middle wide open? Everyone will bite on that. Everyone will bite, and we will score a touchdown. This ball game is over without a field goal.
Right.
They could have ended that game right then with a fake run play when they're trying to get in field goal range. When they were in field goal range, imagine it's 3rd down and you fake that dive, running wide open. Guaranteed.
Wide open. They might get 6 there. Otherwise, there's this guy named Brazel. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. He can go jump, get the ball. Take a shot at the end zone. You have to do it on 1st down necessarily, but take a shot. Show that you are we're trying to score here. And they didn't show that at all. They just said we're trying to survive, and those are 2 different things.
Yep. The last two drives were that. The 3 up the middle, kick to get up 8. They come back and tie you on two heck of a passes by Stockton. Stockton played his ass off. He played really, really well Saturday.
He was good.
That over the shoulder he laid in there on that 4th and 6 play for that touchdown.
That was pretty you saw throw all day, either Sunday or Saturday, as good as you'll see.
That's guts, dude. I mean, that hats off that kid because he played really well. They roughed him up. They sacked him, I think, 5 times. They got after him, but he just hung in there and made clutch throw after clutch throw after clutch throw. That's what Georgia's going to do. I mean, they're not going to let you run them out. They're going to fight back. So
absolutely.
But yeah, overall, I'm like you.
Yeah, they weren't scared. They didn't flinch.
Nope. No. Good teams don't. And that's what gives me hope too. Is you just carved up the best defense probably in the conference, most likely, if not one of the top 3.
One of the top 2 or 3. Yep, absolutely.
Yes,
100%.
for sure.
That's a fact.
You carved them up pretty good. If you can keep him upright, which looks like the offensive line's playing really well right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you could do that, there's no reason why you can't be undefeated headed to Alabama 3rd Saturday in October for a huge one. And if you take an L down there, that's just what happens because the rest of those games are winnable. 10-2 gets you in the playoff, and that's
absolutely.
On a rebuilding year. Once you get your defensive guys back, the way he plays quarterback and the way that offense runs with Aguilar gives you a lot of hope because you're not last year. You're just kind of just plugging along, leaning on the defense. You don't have to lean on the defense.
No. Right.
You know, you give up 24 points all day long if you want to, guys. It's fine.
Absolutely.
We're going to be in the 30s every game. Yeah.
Right.
So let's go.
Absolutely.
So it gives you hope for sure. I took it pretty bad. It's funny. He missed a field goal, and I'm standing up in front of the TV, and I'm just juiced to the gills. And I'm like, okay. And then he pushes it wide. I went back to my recliner. I sit down. I pulled the foot thing up, and I just sit there emotionless. Totally. And if it did that to me at home, I know that stadium had to be the exact same way.
You can just feel the air just from the
could.
TV, just like
you just knew. You just knew they lost that ball game. And I was sitting in that recliner, and we kicked the field goal. They could have fumbled first play, and we recovered and won the game. And I would have sat there in that recliner without emotion and be like, "Holy crap, we just won that!" Like it would have been like that because it all left me as soon as we missed that field goal. Yeah,
so, right. It is amazing, like how so deflating that can be, and because you're like, you know what? I've said this too. I've seen this movie. I know how this movie ends, and it's not enjoyable. So I'm just going to sit here and try not to lose my mind.
Yep.
So. Well, I think that one thing I couldn't figure out was what Tennessee was just sitting back and just playing huge cushion on their wide receivers, and so they're just throwing the ball at the branch, and they're getting 36-yard touchdowns and big plays after big plays because Georgia's blocking really well, but like Tennessee was sitting back so far off those wide receivers, they just were taking that smartly. They were just taking what Tennessee was giving them, and that just felt like that continued to get them third downs and touchdowns. Which I know that partly because the defense, the secondary for Tennessee, you don't want to get beat over the top, but like, man, they just got carved. Some of those.
You got a transfer in Hood.
There, man. Yeah.
One corner has transfer in Hood. He's from Colorado. Pretty good corner. He's not bad. They attacked him some, but not much. They went after Redmond, the true freshman corner, and that's just what's up.
Which you should.
So,
right.
Yeah. So then you got to give him some safety help, which they try to do by being off to be able to give him some help. Well, that just opens up them bubble screens and stuff like that. And then with someone like Branch, you come down and take a wrong angle on that one. Next thing you know, he's 36 yards. You're not running him down. No. So you just take a bad angle.
You'll never catch him.
As safety, and next thing you know, he's out to the sideline and off he goes. So it puts you in a real bind. Good corner play is so important when it comes to calling defense. And if we just, without McCoy, we just don't have it.
They don't. It's clear at this point, and so they did what they could to survive. So
had a chance to win. I mean,
absolutely. Hey, you got a chance to win. Like it came up short again. That's frustrating, but you know who Tennessee is. Like they are a legit contender in that conference. They're a game behind Georgia now, but they still have lots of. If their goal is to win the SEC, that's obviously a big goal. But you're also now there's 12 teams. You got to get yourself in the playoff, and Tennessee's still perfectly in good shape for that. Even if they go down and get beat by Bama and they play close, might beat Georgia at overtime by one or by one field goal, I should say. You lose too close on the road to Bama. That's going to be you're going to be in there because you're going to have to beat some other good teams like South Carolina and Vanderbilt and like
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, exactly.
At Oklahoma home, you have good wins.
Yep.
Yeah, Tennessee's 10-2. We're in the playoff. Where we are in the playoff seating wise, who knows? But they're in the playoff at 10-2, zero doubt.
Right. Yeah, you guys have to lay an egg at, I don't know, Kentucky or something like that.
Not Kentucky. They won't lose. We don't lose Kentucky.
No.
What scares the shit out of me is going to Gainesville. No.
Oh, Gainesville. Well,
going to Gainesville end of the year, and you're 8-2. Or say whatever your record would be, and you got 2 losses already because you lost at Bama, and you got to go down there with a playoff on the line. And then let's say who knows who Florida will be by then, right? Yeah. So let's say you go down there and you do win, and then you got to deal with Diego Pavia trying to put you out of the playoff up here the following weekend. That's a
tough ask, man. They're going to earn that playoff spot.
Yep. Sure are. Yep,
absolutely.
For sure.
Right. All right, let's move on to the next game. Texas. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but we just need to at least touch on
Arch.
Arch Manning is going from, arguably people have him as the number 1 quarterback of the country, maybe behind Lagway. Maybe he's 2 or 3. He's top 5. He's in commercials, like national commercials for Warby Parker for eyeglasses, contact lenses. He's a Manning. He's been there for 3 years now. People say he's young. No, he's been there for 3 years. This is his 3rd year. And he looked like either he's a really bad football player or he's got something wrong with his throwing arm. He had 69 yards passing at halftime against UTEP. He got outplayed by Malachi Nelson, which is Malachi Nelson was at USC. It's yeah, exactly. He went to USC, then he was at like Utah, Idaho, or somewhere like that. Now he's at UTEP. But like, if you're Sark, we can just talk about, because they obviously were able to win this game because Texas is more talented than most people, than certainly UTEP. But if you're Sark, I don't know how you handle this. This is, but you've been building for this for 4 years. You recruited him, got him as a junior in high school. The last 2 years he's played behind you. His first year he didn't play at all. Last year he got a lot of play. This year you're 3 games in, and you look like a guy that's got a quarterback who's never played the game. He's never thrown the ball to his wide receivers. They don't have any chemistry at all, and I just don't. He's all the talent. Like, he has everything. Can run, throw, like Manning, intelligence, everything. But he either really bad right now, or he's just not a good quarterback, or he's injured, and there's no indication that he's actually injured that I know of.
I don't. In my opinion, I don't think it's either one. I think it is. Arch Manning hasn't played a whole lot of football, right? Yeah, and he just and of course this is not remotely the same, but in 2009 when Kiffin was here, this guy quarterback, he was a 5-star coming out of school. His name was Jonathan Crompton, and he looked the exact same way Arch looks right now, starting off the year. And they lost to UCLA. He didn't look good at home. He just wasn't good. Midway through the Auburn game that year, you lost that Auburn game, but it was like a switch flipped, and he was good the rest of the year. And I think you can't take Arch out, right? You spent too much money. He's too talented.
Right.
He's your quarterback, ride or die.
No, you are stuck with him, right? Right.
Yeah, he's your guy. Barring injury, he's going to be the quarterback for Texas all year. Win, lose, or draw, doesn't matter. But I look for a switch to flip through the year here, first half. So one game you're going to see it happen, and he's going to look okay at it, and then you're going to see him complete some pass. He missed 11 in a row in that game this past Saturday. But you're going to see it happen right in front of your eyes, like, okay, and it's going to flip, and it's going to actually register, and then you're going to see it ascend. I just think he's just too talented. Sark's too good of a coach. They're just too talented of a program, of a roster overall, for them to be an 8-4, 9-3 club. I just refuse to believe. Maybe now, this is recorded, so end of the year we can always bring this receipt back.
Monday, September 15th. It's about 9 p.m. Eastern time.
We can always replay this at the end, like, Chris, you dumbass, But I do. I watched it happen in 2009 with Crompton, and I think it happens with Arch at some point of the year. Looking at that schedule, it could happen versus Florida. It could happen versus Oklahoma. That's where if it's going to happen, it better happen by Oklahoma.
It better happen before then.
Yeah.
You can't go down to Gainesville and lay an egg against a team that's probably going to have an interim coach, a quarterback that loves to throw the ball to your defensive friends. What are you going to do? Figure out Red River? That's not a good time to figure out your throwing mechanics. Then you got to go to Kentucky. That's winnable. You go to Mississippi State. Well, have fun. That's probably going to be a night game. Have fun doing that game down there.
Cowbell's going off for years.
Yeah. Oh, then you get to play Vanderbilt. Well, that's not going to be easy. Oh, then I forgot. You got to go to Georgia. And you get an Arkansas team's not afraid to score. They don't play defense. It's not afraid to score. And then A&M, who looks like the shining star right now after their game. We'll talk about them. Yeah. They don't have time for him to sort it out. He needs to be sorting it out like Sam Houston or the first quarter against Florida. Right. Those are your choices. Otherwise, this season's going to end up in the toilet.
I think it'll happen. I do. I think you'll see it. You'll be watching, and then you'll just see it happen during the game, and it'll be like reaching over and turning the light switch on the wall, and then then Arch will be maybe not what everybody says it's supposed to be, because that bar was set way too high for him anyway.
Right.
But at least you're going to see him ascend into that good to great quarterback, and see where Texas goes from there. I just think it'll happen.
Yeah, agreed. It's going to happen soon, or they're in deep doo-doo. Like, obviously Sark's no position to be worried about his job or anything, but like this is the guy, this is their guy, this is why they spent the X amount of millions to go get the next great Manning, right? And he does not want that to fail on his on his.
This
watch,
is their year
right?
too.
So,
I mean, their defense is
year.
outstanding.
Yes,
Their running backs are good. They
offensive
got
line
great
is
wide
fine.
receivers. Everything is set up except quarterback play. Just be a good quarterback.
Yeah,
and you can go win a title.
Absolutely. Yeah, he can just be mediocre to good. It doesn't have to even be like Hall of Fame like his uncles.
Oh,
Like just be really good, take care of the ball, get the ball to Ryan Wingo. That's get it to your stud running backs. Like you'll
make the
probably
throws
be
you're
all right.
supposed to make. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, right.
Make the throws
Absolutely.
you're supposed to make. That's all you need to do. Rest take care of itself.
That's what I was worried. Like because Wingo's running wide open. He's one of the wide receivers in the country that's really good, and no one really talks about that much because there's so many other good ones, like like Brazel, for example. But his quarterback's not getting the ball, and whatever it is, if they have to sort it out still, then it better be soon. So, one team that Texas gets to play last game of the year, which I'm looking forward to getting to them play again, is A&M. Take one on the chin last year. Notre Dame goes down to that weirdo College Station, strange fan base, and takes it to Texas A&M. A&M goes up to South Bend, and we've talked about it, and they may be the most perpetually like never kind of quite get to the top of that mountain. A&M, that is, like you're always a player or two, or a game or two. You look like you're amazing, then you run into Alabama and you play really well, then you get beat by Mississippi State the next week. Like they're a team that perpetually have been like so mediocre to pretty good. It's hard to believe in them, but this is maybe a different team. Maybe this is the program has changed at the Elko. I think he's a really good football coach. I think they made the right hire. He needs some time to get it going. They go into Notre Dame and they come away with a win. I mean, interesting. We'll talk about the
however crazy it happened.
Win's a win.
Yeah, you take it. You get on the plane and head back to College Station.
But you see that you have Marcel Reed. So we're talking about we know there's some dogs in college football. Quarterback Pavia, Haynes King, those guys are dogs, right? I think Gunnar Stockton may become a dog after he got the piss beat out of him by Tennessee and still played well. Marcel Reed may be a dog. I mean, this guy, oh boy, played really well. I mean, he had some a lot of incompletions, but he made some plays late, especially with his legs. I was pretty impressed by him. And then Mario Craver may be the most under talked about wide receiver in the country, and I think he might be right behind Jeremiah Smith as right there as the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks or wide receivers in the country. He is unreal, and so I'm just kind of getting some spitting out things. I think C.J. Carr played well. I think he's the quarterback of their future. They ran the ball pretty well. Notre Dame, they had 150 yards rushing. They have to stop playing man defense, I think. Chris Ash has got to get out of man defense because they're getting carved up. They carved up by Miami. They got carved up by A&M. That's only 2 games in. You're 0-2, by the way. Your playoffs almost certainly done, unless
I've got
someone else.
I've got something I can't believe. I'll tell you here in a minute about Notre Dame. This is just unbelievable.
But so Concepcion is another great wide receiver. So I think they have talent to score tons of points. A&M. I don't know about defensively, but Notre Dame's going to have to do something. They go to zone, do something different because oh boy, this ain't working as it is. So, and that's a good football team, Notre Dame. They just can't get any pass rush. When you can't get any pass rush, you better have an elite secondary. Right now, they're not playing well. Christian Gray's a great cornerback. He's got a bad shoulder, so he's missed that tackle to Cravers, that 86-yard bomb, and they're not in position. They're not good enough right now to play man because they don't got no push up front. They just have nothing, no pass rush. Reed was able to just sit back comfortably. I mean, most of the time he had a lot of incompletions, but he's still kind of a young guy and he's still learning on the job a little bit. But hit me with your Notre Dame thought because you obviously got a good one sitting in the tank.
They've taken a humongous step back on defense.
Yes.
From that last year's squad. I mean, it's a huge step back.
Yep.
With all the good and the fortune that happened in Notre Dame last year, this seems like the universe kind of correcting itself, don't it? You're gonna go up 7 and you botch a snap on the extra point. They don't let you kick the extra point, and then that comes back and beats you. That is so not Marcus Freeman football.
No,
It's not.
no,
He is a good
not.
coach, and they did everything they did
Absolutely.
right last year. Fundamentally, made the plays that are supposed to be made, played within themselves. All that stuff they did last year, they are just like, nope, not this year. Now, they've lost two good teams. Miami, we've talked
Yes,
about,
they have.
maybe the number
Absolutely.
one team in the nation, and
Right.
then A&M is a good team too. So it's not like they're losing to Northern Illinois, right? Like last
Right.
year.
Right. Exactly.
So they're not losing to tomato cans, but they're when it's time to make winning plays, they're just not making them. And so it surprised me. We picked Notre Dame to win this game. I did. Did you pick them to win this game too? Right?
I did because of
Yeah.
I thought being in South Bend, we know the history of A&M,
At night.
what they look like. Yep, night. It's just
felt
they
like-
had everything stacked against them, honestly.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It just felt like
So,
Marcus
nope.
Freeman was going to need to kind of get this game to get things going the right way and everything, and it just for whatever reason, it just all that good fortune last year is coming back around this year, and so.
Yep.
And then, of course, your guy gets absolutely tackled on the touchdown throw at the end. I mean, just pulled down by the legs. and
That
they
was
don't
not a
bother
hold.
calling
That was
it.
a yank. No, right. Although I
Golly.
will say, I still think that damn holding on the. I love the fact that they score and they give a kickoff return for touchdown, and there's like, it feels like a bit of a phantom hold there on that kickoff return,
Right.
which was nowhere near the play. Again, kind of like you said, karma catches back up to you eventually. Things even out likely.
Yep.
In the universe, and that may have just been it. You have to call hold on that play, though. That's like, you don't want the refs to be calling ticky tack things at the end of the game, but
That's
the
not
guy got
ticky-tack.
yanked down. It would have been a shot at a sack, if certainly not disrupting that play.
Yeah,
So
a big time hurry.
yeah, absolutely.
A big-time hurry
yes,
he missed out
exactly.
on.
Right, of a quarter who had
Yeah.
20 incompletions, so it's not unlikely that he wouldn't throw
Right.
the ball at
Right,
the foot
for
of his wide receivers. As his blocking tight ends, not even the stud tight end. It's just that was a 4th and 6. But so Notre Dame had a chance defensively to hang on, and
Yeah,
they
just-
couldn't do that. They could not do that like they could in the last couple of years, especially last year.
Time,
So
time to make a winning
this is a
play, and they
different
just
team.
don't make the winning play.
On either side of
And
the ball.
They are 0-2 and still ranked.
Yes, right.
Explain that to me, somebody.
This is why the polls with last week the lady moving Florida up after getting beat
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. Like they're coming. So who cares? Like why are we even doing it? What's the point? I mean, it's just interesting. Like I guess you have to have some sort of way to gauge who are the top 12 teams, whatever, at the end of the year. But like right now, it's such a clown show. Like how are they ahead of Georgia Tech? How are they ahead of Vandy? Like those are two good football teams.
They
right?
dropped
I mean-
USF right on out of the top 25. Now they did
Yes,
take a beating
right.
for sure, but
They
they've got
did.
two. They've got two good wins
Yes,
over a
they
Notre
do.
Dame team that has no good wins at all. No wins
Zero.
at all.
They have no wins.
And you lost to probably the best team in the country. Yeah, I mean, you got
Yes.
you got your head beat in a little bit, but that
They
Miami's
held
still
in
got a lot of
pretty well.
teams. But
Right,
that
absolutely.
you can't excuse and then USC's sitting there playing fantastic football at 3-0. And
Yes,
you're
they
ranked
are.
ahead of USC. What are we doing?
Yeah,
What are
absolutely
we doing
not.
with these?
That'll sort itself out, in a
It
month
will,
or so. But you look at Notre Dame's schedule; they have nowhere to gain a big win at this point. Like the closest one, obviously, is USC, who just snuck into the top 25. We just talked.
They're
about
gonna lose
they're
at
a really
Arkansas.
good football team. I wonder, they're going to have to. They're going to that game may look like 41-40 because
Yep.
Arkansas doesn't like to play defense, but they sure as hell like
Nope.
to score.
Yep.
They'll beat Purdue. Purdue's not a good football team still, although under Odom I think they'll be better than they were the last half dozen years, but they're just not quite there. They don't have talent. Boise, I've not seen enough of Boise State after that getting the teeth kicked in. I don't know that's a game that they'll the next two that they'll after that. USC right now I'm chalking that up as an L. At Boston College, probably okay, but there's some things voodoo happens out there. Navy, you'll probably beat the Wheat Pit, and the rest of the schedule is just kind of a joke, right? I mean, if you're a Notre Dame fan, there's one game left on your schedule that you're really excited for, right? It's this USC game, obviously because it's a rivalry, but there's not anything else on there. Pitt lost to a bad West Virginia team. Syracuse could be more mediocre. Stanford's still got nothing. No one talks about them. Navy, that's not going to move the needle for anyone. BC on the road. I mean, the Irish Catholics that live in that area love it because they get to go to a game easily. But like, I don't know. That's just this. They have no ability to pick up some quality wins other than maybe the
There's
USC team. And
there's only
the
one.
USC may throttle them. USC can put
yeah.
up some points, and
That may be the best offense in the country out there.
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
could be the best offense
Right.
in the country out there. I mean, that's
Yep.
Yep.
That we're not talking about yet. We haven't
Nope.
hardly talked about them at all. I like that. I like that team. We'll see. Like they did struggle with Purdue a little bit, but that was like a 4-hour lightning delay, and there's all kinds of weird things like that. You never know. They took care of business. The score didn't like reflect how well USC played. I didn't think, but they're a good football team. They're the best team in LA. We can say that for sure, right? I mean, I really agree on that.
Who don't have a coach anymore, and now
They don't have
we'll
a coach
talk about
anymore.
that. Oh, we'll talk about that. I don't think UCLA. Well, we can talk about it at the end if you want to. Because I got
Sounds
opinion
good.
on UCLA.
Yeah, same. So because that's a program that's also like the A&M of the West, maybe.
Yeah.
Vandy, oh boy, we said South Carolina. We thought they both would win. I think we both picked South Carolina, but
Did
I don't care if Lenore Sellers didn't get hurt. This would be still an L from South Carolina, but maybe not quite as bad.
right.
Vanderbilt is as legit as anyone else I've seen play. They're the Georgia Tech of the North, the SEC, if you will. They're a good football team, and they're not done winning. They're sitting there at 3-0, and they got a cream puff next week. I mean, they're going to be further in the conference season, sitting at 4-0.
They may very likely go to Alabama undefeated in a couple weeks.
Wouldn't that be something? Let's take a look at their schedule quick. Yeah, the Georgia State, Utah State, those two wins. Yeah,
Yep,
so they're going to be 5-0 going into that Bama game. Yep. But then they got a bit of a stretch here at Bama, LSU at home, Mizzou at home, at Texas, Auburn at home, and then they get you guys to close out the season. So I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs or anything, but if you're Bama,
8-4's on the table. 7-5's on the table.
That's a great coach if you can get to even 7-5 with this schedule that you got left, right?
Yep. With Vanderbilt,
turns out that right, exactly. Turns out that Virginia Tech's just a joke. They're maybe one of the worst teams in the conference, in all the conferences. If they could sneak out a win here, like Mizzou is not a team that they could certainly beat Mizzou, a home game. Like, you guys are going to have to put up a fight to win them. They'll beat Kentucky, sure. Auburn. That's a home game. It's this Texas. Who knows what they'll look like? Depends if Arch Manning turns around or not. Yeah, this
LSU
is Alabama game. I'm sure they're circled again. LSU at home, like their schedule sits up.
They can't score the football.
It's rough, but it's also doable with what you have at home. You got the two tough games in the next few weeks here, at Alabama, at Texas, and at Tennessee, and sandwiched in the middle. Along the rest of the way, but it's doable to get yourself into a decent bowl game. That's what they should fight for.
Yep.
And hell, if they go down there and Tuscaloosa and get a W, if I'm LSU, I am nervous as hell to make that trip to Nashville.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Right. That stadium will be loaded.
Yes. And they might tarmac Kalen DeBoer if they do that.
Yeah.
You can't lose a Vandy for Bama.
No. Not back to back? No, that ain't. I don't care who the quarterback is.
So the fun fact on Vanderbilt.
Yes.
1-0. They're 1-0 in the SEC for the first time since 2011. Tells you about that program a little bit.
Okay.
Where they've been.
14 years. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So their coach, he's not for long probably there. Someone else is going to snatch him up and give him lots of money.
Everyone knows that's a passing through job. That's a stepstone. That's stepstone to go get a better job. A high major job. Vanderbilt knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
And so,
right.
If you can go there and you can knock down. I mean that in 2011, by the way, when they were 1-0 in the SEC, Vanderbilt won 9 games that year.
Okay.
Jordan Rodgers is on that team quarterbacking, and they were a good team. Went bowling, they were a good team, and then James, like you said, that's James Franklin's Vanderbilt, and then of course he lands the Penn State job.
Penn State job, yep.
That's exactly what's going to happen. So he's just passing through.
Yep. But they're reaping the rewards for now at least. This is the team. This game we had circled. This is the game we said will be the marquee game of the early slate, which most of the games are after 2:30 anyway, 2:30 on. But we both picked Georgia Tech, and rightly so, because we saw both teams play the previous 2 weeks. Georgia Tech gets out to a 13-point lead and then kind of runs into that. Finally, that Clemson defense starts becoming the Clemson defense, and it kind of hangs in there. And Clemson, they got some players, right? I mean, obviously, you talk about Klubnik as one of the best quarterbacks in the country coming in. I think Wesco is a great wide receiver. He's probably one of the top 5-10 wide receivers in the country. He had a big game. They ran the ball pretty well. Georgia Tech just out-toughed them, and that's what we said they're going to do. They're going to punch in the mouth, and they'll never say, I'm sorry. Brent Key has that program as good as they're going to be. Like, they're getting 5-star kind of white offensive linemen now in this recruiting class. You said last week or week before, there's enough talent in the hot Atlanta area, and within a couple hundred miles, you don't have to go fight for all these other. You're going to pull some kids in there to go to school and a fun city, and obviously a good school, good academic school. So, this is a fun team to watch too. They are not afraid of anybody, and they just showed that again.
Yeah, the state of Georgia. Just the state of Georgia in general. Atlanta metro area, sure, you will get good players out of there, but just the state of Georgia is loaded with D1 talent.
Absolutely.
And the cream of the crop goes to Georgia. That's just what happens. But there's plenty of talent. We get kids out of Georgia. Alabama raids the state of Georgia. Florida gets into Georgia. The Carolinas get it. I mean, everyone raids the state of Georgia for players because there's tons of players in Georgia. So, yeah, you should always and hopefully now with Key putting together this type of product out on the field, now hopefully maybe a little bit of money rolls in, right? Maybe some boosters come off some cash, right? Because speaking of a coach that's just passing through, Key for Georgia Tech is just passing through. He's going to land a high major job. Maybe I don't know if it'll be this year, next year, maybe when Haynes King leaves. Because talk about a tough SOB. That kid is tough.
He's nails. He's made out of iron, I think.
25 carries for 103 yards, and the next closest carry as far as running backs was 12.
Hayes is a good quarterback too, or running back.
Yeah. I mean, so in the Big Ten, the SEC, that wouldn't fly. You can't carry the ball like that. Like Material, we talked about Material last week.
Material.
You can't run like
carries,
that through the whole conference year. You're going to get. I mean, these are guys that are being draft picks are going to be hitting you. Well, the ACC, you don't have to worry about that so much. That's the best defense probably by far they're going to see this year. They don't play Miami.
Well, exactly.
So
and they had the balls out. Yeah, they had the ball out because this is we got to win this game. We got to show we're on the map here. We're ahead of what everyone else thinks we are. So you do run King 25 times.
You got to win the ball game, and that means running him 25. That's what you do. So
that's what you do because the rest of their schedule. He ain't going to need to run 25 times the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8
Maybe not
weeks.
the year.
Hey, listen, it's not impossible they go undefeated in that Georgia game, and they get that game at home.
Nope. Sign me up for that. I don't know where they lose on there. They likely will drop one just because it's college football.
Right. Maybe the NC State, who's playing pretty well, Boston College, back-to-back road games. Yeah. They're going to just hammer the next 3 or 4 teams probably. Duke could be interesting if they can take care of the ball. Duke's not a train wreck like they played with Illinois quite a while.
Now it's about getting Haynes King healthy. That's what it's about now. Get him healthy. Right. Get us everything back up. Get him where he can run around a little bit and work on the passing game. And because you can't run him that much and do anything in the playoff. But I'm like you. And you know what? They go into that Georgia game 11-0. You go into that game. Then you lose it. Who knows how they play Georgia? Who knows? It doesn't matter by then. You're in the playoff.
Right. You're in playoffs. Yeah, absolutely. That game does not matter if they win or lose that game as far as getting into the playoffs. They are absolutely in because that also means they're probably in the ACC title. They're winners or they're in the game at least. Miami. Yep. Yeah. So that'd be a game we'd like to see, right? Miami or Florida State against this team. So those are 2 teams because they missed both those guys. So. Clemson was their big. That was a marquee game.
Scheduling.
I don't know. Just set up perfectly. Their AD should get a raise.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to Colorado, they took care of business. Then, yeah, getting the Clemson win was huge. Now that propels them the rest of the year. And
Springboards
I just don't
yep.
think that. I just don't think that Key is going to let them falter. I just think this team is legit. If they lose another game, I'd be surprised. Other than the Georgia game.
Yep,
And again,
for sure.
that doesn't really matter even.
That's a home.
Clemson,
And they damn
they're
near
not
beat them
done
last
losing.
year.
Yes, they did,
Damn near
absolutely.
beat Georgia last year. Overtime, they had Georgia on the ropes.
They had them on the ropes. Yep. Now Clemson, on the other hand, is not done losing, best I can tell.
think you're
now
right.
their schedule's not exactly scary by any means. They'll probably cruise through the next handful of games. Maybe the SMU will give them a game. Boy, when they go to
There it is.
play Florida State, though, that's the game they can reset. If they are able to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, put it together, beat Florida State, win out, which would be beating a good South Carolina team on the road. They still have a playoff shot, I think, but
You can't drop
they
anymore.
lose one more anywhere. No, not one. Not even Florida State. You have to beat Florida State. I think if you're going to have to do that if you want to get in an SEC or the ACC title game anyway. But they
You need
are
a quality win.
razor thin margin right now. Razor thin margin. They're not going to get any quality wins until that Florida State game. So you got
So if you
till
don't-
was that middle October?
Yep. You don't beat Florida State, you
October.
don't have a quality win. You're
Mm-mm.
the only chance you have to get in. Well, I mean, I don't know how the standings work in the ACC exactly, but you can't. There's no way you could drop that Florida State game and probably be in the
No.
ACC championship game with Georgia Tech probably going to maybe not lose, and then
Right.
Florida State maybe dropping a game, and then Miami not losing or dropping a game. So
Right.
Yeah,
Those
you're
two
done for the
teams.
year.
That game in Tallahassee in a few weeks, that may be for the pole position of that conference, right? I mean, because
Sure.
those two teams, to me, look like the best teams. I like Georgia Tech. I feel like they're a notch below. Those two teams are just they're going to out talented if nothing else. That'll catch up to you eventually. But yeah, Clemson can't afford that. Because I don't see Florida State or Miami losing more than just one game in that stretch. That may be two to each other, right? I mean, that may be the only time they lose. So lots of interesting things to play out the next few weeks here. Clemson, you're not out of it yet, but it ain't looking pretty either. And how would you have any faith that you could go beat Florida State? I don't care where that game is after what you've seen the first 3 weeks.
no, they
offense
can't. They can't score
can't
enough
do
points to beat. Yeah.
Nope, absolutely. Oklahoma goes on, have a nice win at Temple. That AD is that Joe Castiglione. I don't know if he's still there or not, but that was a go to Temple. I guess you like a trip to Philadelphia. Go see the Liberty Bell. Hope the kids had fun.
Play in front of 30,000 people.
Exactly right. And this is the game we talked about. Maybe the game of the weekend as far as the track meet, and that kind of lived up to be what it was. Two teams that just are allergic to defense. It's 28-30 was 31-28 at halftime. The second half, the defense has got to put things a little bit, but ended up being a good game. And Arkansas's they're going to be a tough out for anybody. I mean, they're going to let you light up the scoreboard, but they're going to try to do the same thing themselves. So Ole Miss, that looks like an Ole Miss game, doesn't it? This is who they are.
Lane Kiffin loves that. He loves
He's
that
not
type
afraid.
of game.
Yeah. Yep. This is perfect for him. So, I mean, so that's Ole Miss with their backup quarterback, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, Simmons got hurt.
that was
Yep.
pretty impressive. Simmons got hurt. Chambliss played really well. 21, 29, 353, a touchdown.
Yep.
Ran the ball for 60 yards, so 2 touchdowns. That's hell. He'd make with Simmons throwing the ball away and turnover prone. I guess if once he gets healed, you have to go back to that well. But at least you have a quarterback that's competent in the back behind him. So if he starts faltering, and that'll push him a little bit.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, he looked great. He was also playing
But his
Arkansas.
Arkansas defense.
Yeah.
That's fair, right? You
There's
still
no
have to
talent on
execute,
that
though,
side
right?
of the ball. Yes.
Right.
But there's zero talent on that side of the ball for Arkansas. They have Taylon Green, and I forget who the receiver is, but he's what they have.
Blake.
If Taylon Green goes down, Arkansas is all of a sudden a 500 team at best.
At best, right?
He's the engine
Exactly.
that makes that whole thing go. So, it's they're not going to play. That game worried me at first, and then I watch us play let's just play offense against Georgia's defense. And now that game
Right.
doesn't worry me as much because I think we'll get stops. Now, take the over 100%
Right.
when they come to town. But
That's going to be a track meet.
it sure will. But I mean, that game doesn't worry me near as much as it did going into the year. I thought that was a heck of a
Sure.
trap game because of that kid coming in. But watching Arkansas play defense, I mean, me and you are going out and play. We could have went out and threw for that much if we were Ole Miss.
Yeah. Right.
They just don't.
True.
They don't play any defense. So
Right. And they didn't run the ball that well. Like, Lacey only had 44 yards, 17 carries. So, I wonder if they just stacked the box and just said, "You can go ahead and beat us back up." And well, he's
And they did.
okay.
okay, yeah, I
Sure
can do
enough,
that.
no problem.
Yeah.
Because I think Keywan Lacey is a good running back too. So
Yes, he is.
I'll give Arkansas their flowers for that, I suppose. All right, Illinois took care of business, no problem. It was a little rough at home. They had a sort of rough start. Actually, Ohio State, we could briefly touch on that. They got out to a really rough start. They struggled mightily against Ohio. Julian saying, obviously, you can get bailed out because you just throw arm punts to Jeremiah Smith and he'll bail you out, or Carnell Tate, or Brandon Ennis. Just pick your wide receiver. They got up Max Clare as a tight end, as a stud tight end from Purdue they got. So he threw another interception on a bad ball too. So, and they're fine, obviously, right? They put this game away, but it's a bit of a nail biter that first half and that first part of the third quarter until they just like, okay, we're done messing around here. So
It's like
and
they're kind of
could just been like
sleepwalking
that.
right now, huh?
It's like walking through it, right? Yeah, they don't have anybody to get excited about. They go, it's like you have the best date ever, and then you like get a bunch of dud dates. Now,
Yep.
this coming weekend, they go to Washington. That's one of the games that I think that could be a stumbling block for them. Tough game on the road. That's actually 2 weeks. They're off this weekend. It's the 27th. That's a tough game. At Illinois could be a tough game. And then Penn State, of course. And the rest.
That game will be lit in Illinois.
The final game.
Champagne will
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
lit for
Yes,
that game.
Absolutely. They have a trophy. You know what that trophy is? It's a rivalry trophy.
Okay.
It's the Elia Buck. It's like a turtle. I don't know what it's.
Oh, well,
it's
no
like
wonder
a
I haven't heard of
wooden
it.
turtle.
Sounds terrible.
It's like they've had a rivalry for like not 100 years, but 50, 60, 70 years. But it's funny, like it's one of those. It's a rivalry, but they don't play every year.
Those trophies are,
it's whatever. Yeah, those are so silly.
and there's
like
really
the-
cool
you
ones
know-
out there too.
Yes, absolutely. You know what? The Floyd of Rosedale is between Minnesota and Iowa, and it's a wooden it's maybe it's bronze sculpture, but it's of a pig, which is
Oh, wow.
perfect, I suppose. Indiana and Purdue, they play for the old brass spittoon, so it's like a bucket of.
Bucket of spit.
I love this. And then, so Michigan plays for the Paul Bunyan trophies. It's the
Yep.
guy that stands like this.
Yep.
And then there's Minnesota and Wisconsin play for the axe. They
The
have a
axe, yeah.
big
That-
axe
that's
that
a
they
cool
play
one.
for. Yeah, right. That's a cool one.
Tennessee,
Right.
Kentucky used to play for the beer barrel, which is
Beer-
pretty
That's
badass.
perfect, right?
Yeah, which is
Right.
pretty badass. Yeah, they got rid of it.
Why is it not the bourbon barrel? That should be the bourbon
It
barrel. That
should-
makes more
it-
sense.
It
right?
should be, but it was a beer barrel. It's at UT somewhere, buried in a basement now because it never,
Okay.
it rarely went to Kentucky.
Changed hands ever? Yeah.
Yeah, not much. But they took it away. Some kids, they did the game. Some kids left intoxicated, wound up getting, drunk driving and hit and passed away.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
that's-
took it away and
that's,
they've not brought it back. Yep.
That's hard.
I forget what year
How long
that
ago was
is.
that?
I don't
Been a
remember.
while?
It's been a long time though. A long time.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's been long
So
enough for
Ohio
people to
State-
start making the argument to bring it back.
Trying to bring
So,
it back. It's been enough
yeah.
time.
Yes.
It's like you can do 9/11 jokes now because it's been enough
Mhm.
time. Or is that kind of thing? Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Never
Not
forget.
that we will.
Not that we will. No, we would not do that. Not this podcast.
Nope. Classy around
by
here.
the way, yeah, that's right. That's Chris. I'm Brian. This is hell if we know. And if you haven't figured it out yet, we don't know anything. The rest of the games, Utah took care of business. Michigan decided to let Bryce Underwood, cook, and he ever. It's against Central Michigan, but he showed some okay, this kid is absolutely legit with arm and leg, and they go to Nebraska this weekend, so they're going to have to use that again because that's going to be a tough road game.
Well, that's why you do that against Central Michigan, right? I mean, you're going
that's why you got to have those reps.
Yep.
If you're running like RPO stuff, you have to do reps of that. You can't just do it after not practicing at all. Practice it, but you got to do it in game. So those reps, and if it's against Central Michigan, whatever, it's still a rep. So that was encouraging that they actually played that well. Most fans, including myself, are like, well, Sharon Moore is suspended, and they put up 63 points where they didn't do anything but like let Bryce Cook. Maybe can we have the NCAA suspend Sharon for the rest of the year? Let's let Chip Kelly cook there. Let him be the offensive coordinator / head coach. But yeah, so Sharon's going to be out this weekend too against Nebraska for another game.
That's a tricky game. So I think Michigan wins.
Absolutely.
But that's a tricky game.
It'll be a battle. Yeah, they're going to have to sort some things out on defensive part of the game. But I think, we'll get into it Thursday. But I think Michigan will be able to run the ball because interior line of Nebraska is kind of smallish, and so when you get enough push inside, and Justice Haynes is maybe the best. He's one of the best running backs in the country. Like, this kid is legit. He even got a 75-yard touchdown called back for a hold that was nowhere near the play. So, like, he was worth every dime they gave him in the NIL. So I'm really happy. I wish they would have given some more to a wide receiver, but they want to run the ball smash. So it's working out so far. Okay, so Mizzou takes care of business. Auburn takes care of business, and I think that's the meat of. We saw Texas Tech meet up at Oregon State. Utah takes care of business. So that's the biggest games. Is there any other games that we wanted to touch on that are not necessarily top 25 teams or anything that you saw? I'm unimpressed with Penn State basically thus far. They look a lot like they did last year. I mean, this score is whatever, right? But this was hard to come by, 21 that first half, and that's a pretty bad Villanova team. I know they're sleepwalking. They got nothing. Yeah. We should talk about Penn State for just a second because they have nothing exciting until 2 weeks from now they get to play Oregon at home.
There we go.
But after that, they got this, this Iowa game, because this could be like a voodoo thing. You never know about Iowa. It's a night game maybe, and then Ohio State, especially because it's right before at Ohio State. So they have a couple games that they could lose, but there's a lot of tune-up games in there too. So we'll get talking more about that Oregon game in a couple weeks. That's going to be a big one right there. If James Franklin wants to stop being Frames Shanklin, this is one of those games he's going to have to win. So.
Yep. You got if you're Penn State, you have to have that Oregon or that Ohio State
absolutely.
Game. You got to have 100%. One or the other.
Yep. He's only beat Ohio State once, and that was like a block kick 6, or field goal, I should say, block field goal for a touchdown. That was that 2016, I think, something like that. So it's been a minute. Yeah.
Yuck.
Absolutely. So this is the schedule for this coming week. We'll talk about these on Thursday. We'll roll through quickly. There's some good games on here, though. I mean, there's this one would have been, but this is going to be probably a disaster for Florida. But it's something to watch and enjoy. I know you'll be enjoying it one way or another.
I will.
And then Michigan State gets to play a game on the road in LA at 11 o'clock Eastern start time.
Heck, I would.
Welcome to the Big Ten. Welcome to the Big Ten.
If I lived in East Lansing, I'd go to LA and just stay there.
Yeah, you should. Like, you could fly in the morning of the game and still have all day,
Yep.
You could have all day hanging out in the La Brea Tar Pits, whatever you want to do in the meantime, and go check out the Rose Bowl. It's going to be empty. No one's going to be there anyway. So
talk about something that was underwhelming. The La Brea Tar Pits. So we go to LA.
That was
and I'm thinking, I'm going to see these things. It's going to be awesome and huge, and it's going to be great. And it's right in the middle of town. It's just like, meh.
Yeah, it's just a mud pit. It's the most disappointing, uninteresting attraction I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And I was like, what do you mean this is it? Where's the cool stuff at?
Yeah.
No, this is it.
Where's the tar pits in Last Action Hero? I want to see those tar pits, not these.
There's nothing to it.
Yeah.
It was so lame. I think we had to pay money to get into it, didn't we? Or was that free? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, I think you had to pay to get into like the museum part of it. Like you could just walk up and see them on the sidewalk, but then if you were going to go in the museum part of it, you had to pay to get in there. So
right, it was like going to the zoo and it's like the middle of the day, and the tigers are all in the little caves.
Yep.
You can't see anything. You just see grass, maybe a few birds or squirrels, but there's nothing to look at. It's just like, all right.
And the monkeys that throw shit at you. That's it.
Yeah, exactly right. Right. Oh, very uninteresting. I would highly recommend no one goes to that.
No.
Maybe the museum's really cool. I don't know, but I was thoroughly unimpressed, as you were too. So, all right. Well, how'd we do? How many billions are we up now?
Well,
Let's talk about Chris's picks. And so,
Yep.
do a recap because if folks are just joining us.
no, yeah, you're good. So yeah, last week was 5-2 at home. This week we were actually 4-2. Sorry, 4-2 last week at home. This week we're 5-2. 5-2 overall. For this year, 13-4, 76.5% winning percentage. We had wins over LSU over Florida, of course, UK over Eastern Michigan, Ole Miss over Arkansas, Auburn over South Alabama, and then Bama over Wisconsin. We lost the UT UGA game, and we lost the Vandy South Carolina game. So the problem with that is the games that could have paid and offset it, the ones we won didn't offset the $40 we lost.
Sure.
Right. So we come in, we're at $119.98. We started with 140, so we're now in the whole $20.02.
Okay.
So
All right.
Yep. So I'll make those picks. I meant to do it today, and I didn't get a chance to at lunch. I was going to do them today at lunch. I may do them whenever we get done here. But
yeah.
So, and then when you factor in remember the $30 we spent for the parlay at the first of the year, which I still factor this money in just because it's money spent, but it's not the experiment. The experiment's down $20.02.
Is that home teams in the SEC win on a clip of about 70% of the time.
Yes.
And so we're following along to see if that becomes true. We had 140. Is that what the total?
140 to start.
Yeah,
140 to start.
Right.
Yep. And so we're 119.98. So we're down $20.02. But let's say this is again, you can't get. It's like being quarterback. You can't get too high up and too low down. You just because this is the long haul. It's 70% over the whole course of the season for home teams. So while we're down $20.02, we only need a couple of big wins and big upsets at home, and then then we're heading into winning $20-25 probably in this thing.
Right. So right now we're like DJ Lagway area. Is that
yes,
correct? 5 interceptions. We need to get back to Carson Becker.
Yes, we do.
Or Joey Aguilar. Get it back to Aguilar.
We need an upset or two is what we need on a home field. Is what we need to offset the money. So we'll just keep on dividing it up. We got a good bunch of games coming up on this weekend. We can do a lot of home teams, so we'll see if we can turn it around.
Right, absolutely. The worst decision we've made, but I know that you'll never say that, is that we should never bet on that Florida South Florida game because we knew South Florida's going to win that game. But like you said, happy to throw away $20.
That's right. Happy to throw it away, and I said you can't let your heart get in the way. You got to stick to the math. The math says 70% of the time you're going to win. So 70% we're going to bet it all on the home teams and let the stats do what they do and see what we come with at the end. We may be down, we may be up. Who knows? I may be retired.
Right.
I may not need to do this podcast anymore. I might just spend so much money doing this where I can just go live somewhere on the beach, sip Mai Tais, and live happily ever after.
Just actually fly back to every game you want to go see. Go to Miami, Florida State, whatever. Pick a game every week.
I could be in Knoxville for UAB, Tennessee, then get on a private jet and go down to Coral Gables and watch that beating. So
that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Or you can. It's too bad that the Texas and because it'd be great if you could do like Texas, Florida, just because you want to watch two bad quarterbacks play at noon, and then drive over to Tallahassee. It's only a 2-hour drive, something like that. Watch that night game. So I don't think it's going to line up like that.
I would just spend the day in Tallahassee. Yeah,
right. Go around and go see where Ted Bundy lived when he's down there.
There's no reason at all to spend the day on Florida's campus inside that swamp, hot, if you ain't got to. So no.
Right, unless you need to get I guess that's the best place to purchase jean shorts at the mall, the local mall there.
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jorts, your Bud Diesels are in a vast supply at every. Your mullets will be glorious.
Yeah.